Hello, it's Charles Cherney, and today I'd like to explore the neighborhood of Mid-Cambridge in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So Mid-Cambridge we can describe broadly as being bound by Kirkland Street to the north, Massachusetts Avenue, or Mass Ave as we call it locally, to the south, Prospect Street to the east, and Harvard Square itself to the west. It's a sought-after neighborhood because of its convenient location between Harvard University and MIT. And Mid-Cambridge takes its name from the fact that it's in the middle of Cambridge, hence Mid-Cambridge. We often hear people describe Mid-Cambridge as the Golden Triangle, defined by the points of Harvard Square, Central Square, and Inman Square. And it is the neighborhood that rests between these three squares. So convenient to Harvard and MIT, and convenient to Harvard Square, Central Square, and Inman Square. Lovely residential neighborhood with many beautiful side streets, a mix of single families, multifamilies, and small condominium associations as a rule. Close to Harvard Square in the western portion of Mid-Cambridge, giving the neighborhood a big part of its identity is a portion of the Harvard University campus. Part and parcel of Mid-Cambridge, in fact, is Harvard Yard. Harvard Yard is the oldest part of the Harvard campus, and it's the historic center and modern crossroads, if you will, of the university itself. Widener Library is found in Harvard Yard, and in the green space in front of Widener is where Harvard graduations occur. In the old yard are the brick buildings surrounding the yard itself that are freshman dormitories. So freshmen at Harvard begin their life by living in Harvard Yard. Back in the mid-1980s, I was fortunate to live as a Harvard student in Thayer, one of the brick buildings in Harvard Yard. And I feel so fortunate to have had the experience of living in Harvard Yard. It's truly special. It's wonderful to walk through Harvard Yard today. It's adjacent to Harvard Square and it's hustle and bustle. But as soon as you enter into Harvard Yard, it really is a place apart, very tranquil. You can feel the weight of history. And in the school year, the students are never far and there's conversations happening. And it's just a lively, electric place. It's a very special and historic place. So Harvard Yard is very much part of Mid-Cambridge. Across Prescott Street, along one side of Harvard Yard, is the Harvard Art Museums. And this building, it's a Renzo piano building that took shape in 2014, houses the Harvard Art Museum. So the Fogg, the Bush, Reisinger, and the Sackler Museums all became one under the umbrella name of Harvard Art Museums when this new building was built. And it's a wonderful resource, free to Cambridge residents, and distinguished by the courtyard that once upon a time was part and parcel of the Fogg, but is now sort of the entrance and central area of Harvard Art Museums. Great collections, and with the expansion of the space in 2014, there's room now for more of the collections to be shared with the public. Right next to the Harvard Art Museums is Le Corbusier's only building in North America, home to the Harvard Visual and Environmental Studies, what's known as the Carpenter Center inside this building. And it also is home to the Harvard Film Archive, where they have a theater, seats about 180 odd souls. And the Harvard Film Archive was founded in 1979 by Robert Gardner, Vlada Petrick, and Stanley Cavell. And they have a regular program of wonderful world cinema. I have such fond memories of taking a course with Vlada Petrick, who's now since passed away, at the Carpenter Center, and taking in screenings in the screening theater at the Harvard Film Archive in the basement of the building one summer many moons ago now, and having just this wonderful experience of coming out late at night from a wonderful world cinema film shown at this address and walking into the summer night in mid-Cambridge and feeling the afterglow of a great movie. So such fine memories for me attending films at the Harvard Film Archive. It's a real resource right here in mid-Cambridge, which I'm very grateful for. In addition to Carpenter Center and the Harvard Art Museums, the Graduate School of Design, the Harvard GSD is nearby, as well as additional buildings serving the Harvard student body. So Harvard is really a felt presence in mid-Cambridge, beginning with the Yard and expanding outward near it. And look, if you're in Cambridge, you're thinking of Harvard, and in the heart of mid-Cambridge, the Harvard campus is a big part of mid-Cambridge and the neighborhood. Just up the street, if you will, up Broadway, is the Cambridge Public High School, and it's known as Cambridge Rindge and Latin School. More often than not, it's referred to as CRLS or just simply as Rindge, and it's home to some 2,000 students during the school year, and it was renovated back in 2011. Really a big building. It extends from on the front entrance side, Broadway, all the way through to Cambridge Street. And sitting right next to it is the Cambridge Public Library main branch. The original building dates from 1888, and it's a Richardsonian Romanesque style building that was coupled in a $90 million expansion done by William Rahn Associates with a glass European skin coated wall. Just a lovely addition. It's especially beautiful at night when you drive by on Broadway and you see this beautiful glass curtain wall adjacent to the restored original building that together make up the main public library in Cambridge. And the library itself is sitting behind a wonderful green space, Joan Lawrence Park. There's some mature trees here and a lot of open green space that gets a lot of use from members of the neighborhood community, and it's the outdoor space for mid-Cambridge. There are other outdoor spaces in mid-Cambridge, pocket parks, if you will, including, for example, Cooper Park at the corner of Center Street and Hancock, where there's a very appealing children's play area that gets a lot of use. So there's the Lawrence Park and then these smaller parks like Cooper Park that give mid-Cambridge a nice vibe. In addition to Harvard and the high school and the parks, there are a number of cafes and restaurants in mid-Cambridge. So a favorite protocol for me is Darwin's on Cambridge Street. Cambridge Street is, along with Broadway, one of the two main thoroughfares for mid-Cambridge. Of course, Massachusetts Avenue also runs in mid-Cambridge, connecting Harvard Square to Central Square. And there are several wonderful restaurants on Massachusetts Avenue, just outside of Harvard Square in mid-Cambridge, including Waypoint and Pammy's. Pammy's is a new American style restaurant along the lines of an Italian trattoria that has a real wonderful feeling inside. It's a treat to sit there at the bar for dinner or a drink, and it just has such a great Cambridge local neighborhood restaurant feeling. It sort of brings out the best in mid-Cambridge as a place to spend time to pass an evening in good company with family and friends. So it's a good example of the life of mid-Cambridge residents and what it means to live in the neighborhood. Mid-Cambridge experience in terms of real estate is a mix, as I mentioned earlier. And I thought I'd share 3 properties that I have sold as a real estate agent over the years to give you a little bit better sense of the neighborhood. First is a townhome setback from the street on Trowbridge that was built in 1986. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath home with garage parking and 1,500 plus square feet on 4 levels. And it's unusual for Cambridge. A property built in this time frame is newer. It's setback. It's just delightful, and it has a secluded roof deck that makes for a wonderful summer night entertaining. Next, I wanted to share a contemporary 2009 construction home setback from the street. I listed and sold, defined by its cedar siding and exceptional use of glass and private yard, developed by someone who's since passed away, who I had the good fortune to meet at the time the home was being built. And it's for Cambridge a rarity to find something more contemporary, has more of a California vibe. Wonderful home and very special. Last but not least would be this lovely home on Antrim Street, built in the year 2000, that is actually my mother's home. And I had the good fortune to sell it to her while she was living in Michigan. And this was in the era before digital photography. I went by the property when it was under construction and shared pictures with her that I sent by overnight so that she could see and understand the home. And although it was built in the year 2000, it looks 20 years later as if it's been there for 100 years. So hats off to the developer who built the home and found a way to fit it into the urban fabric of Antrim Street with its many beautiful homes and brick sidewalks and mature street plantings. It's a wonderful neighborhood. My mother has loved living there since 2000, and I've been happy to visit with her and my family over that period of time. And it was exciting to be able to help her purchase this home while it was under construction, and for her to find her way here. And she's been there now for these last 20 plus years. So lovely home, lovely block. My hope is this has given you a sense of the Mid-Cambridge neighborhood. I have a link at discovermidcambridge.com where you can learn more about Mid-Cambridge. I love Cambridge. I love Mid-Cambridge. I think every day of my life, I'm in Mid-Cambridge for some reason, whether it's to show a property, to visit my mother, to enjoy one of the parks, cafes or restaurants, to see friends, to show homes. It's a wonderful neighborhood. And, to be between Harvard Square, Central Square, and Inman Square is truly special. So many lovely side streets that are featuring well-maintained homes. Harvard is a felt presence. The yard is so special. So much to love about Mid-Cambridge. I hope you'll check it out. And if I can answer other questions you may have about Mid-Cambridge as a neighborhood or about Cambridge as a city, do reach out. My name is Charles Cherney, and I'm a top realtor here to help you buy the right home, sell for the best price, or simply answer your questions about the market, your home, and the community. Take care.